Now, welcome to our today's class, and we are going to look at a very simple topic that we are familiar with, but we must be keen so that we may get the exact points. It's a term called communication, and as we know, communication from our understanding, um, we may just have it in mind, but asked to explain what exactly it is may be a problem. So today we are going to understand basically what is communication, the processes of communication. Then we are going also to delve into the forms of communication. If I may ask, or if you just ask yourself, what is communication? That's a very simple question, but you have to understand that communication is the process of transmitting and receiving messages. Now, transmitting is all about the passing of the information. Now, receiving is now taking of what has been passed, and it has to be a message that is being passed. So basically, that is what we call communication. So communication is the process of transmitting and receiving. And someone may ask, how does communication happen, or what do we need to facilitate the communication process? Number one, we must have the source of the message or the sender. Number two, there has to be a channel of communication. Number three, there has to be the receiver of the message. But again, there has also to be the message that is moving from the source through the channel to the receiver. Now, a source or a sender is this person who is releasing the message. But before they release a message, there has to be a process that we call encoding. Encoding is whereby the source or the sender is packaging the information in a manner that will be best understood by the receiver. Now, once it has been encoded, the message is released through the channel. Now, the channel is the means through which the information is passed. For example, right now you're watching this video either through your mobile phone or your tablet or your laptop or your personal computer, whichever the device you're using, that is the channel. If you are talking on phone, we will simply say that the mobile phone is your channel. Now, once the message goes through the channel, it gets to the receiver. But before the receiver gets the message, they have to do what we call decoding. Now, decoding is whereby the receiver captures the message in a manner that he or she will understood. It is the interpretation part of the message. Now, once the message has been interpreted by the receiver, what the receiver will simply do is to send the feedback to the sender. So the feedback has to be given for the communication process to be complete. Now, something else I want us to look at is the forms or the different forms of communication. There are different forms. We have what we call the nonverbal communication. This whereby you speak without speaking, or rather you communicate without speaking, without opening your mouth or your vocal cords. You can simply use gestures, body language, and you don't utter words. This is a form of communication that mostly is used by people who are um, deaf. You know what they do? That's what we call gestures and all that. They use nonverbal communication. Then we have got written communication. Now, this is what is penned down, a letter. When you write a letter to your friend, when you write an application letter, that is a written communication. Now, when you're writing that, it simply means that you are not there physically, but the person is able to interpret from the piece of paper. This can be posters, flyers, leaflets, magazines, emails, mm, all sorts, letters, and all that. Those are written communication. And then we have got what we call visual communication. Now, this is what you can be able to watch as it happens. This can be the topography, the photography. These are things you can watch and then interpret. That is what we are calling visual communication.